talk specifically about OWA. As I stated, you wouldn't be on this call if you didn't know there was a problem in online authentication. Username passwords are insecure, and that's basically Security 101. Our job as multi-factor and our job as resellers of this product is to explain to users how do we make what we want to do, which is online email, online transactions, and make it secure. The method out there aren't all that wonderful. Tokens have been proven to be very difficult, and as an ex-engineer who deployed this stuff, it's not just difficult for the end users who get the dongle, but also what usually falls on is then the exchange team has to do the token resets and all that, and that's not easy. Biometrics, and this is what's really interesting for security members on this call. Biometrics, if you're not authentic, if the left-hand side of the client is not authenticating the right-hand side and doing any validation of the server, how do you know you're not having your information replayed? I don't care if it's a retina scan or if it's just your password. If you're not authenticating the right-hand side and validating who you're sending the information to, you're not really improving the security equation. PKI does do the left-right-hand. Classic PKI does the left-right-hand authentication, but has proven to be undeployable. That's why there's multi-factor incorporation. The rollout looks like this. You keep your existing structure. This is your existing structure, your Active Directory and your Outlook and your Exchange servers. What you add into here is the SecureAuth software module onto your web server. That has built-in connections to our web services, and that allows the client, the browser plugin, to be pushed down to your users. That is it. Let's go into why you would do this. Well, it's all about security. That's what we are. We're a security corporation. We feel that we have the premier methodology and technology to prevent phishing and man-in-the-middle. Phishing is actually just a way to create the man-in-the-middle attack. We also have in our product solving the keylogger problem by using the one-time password entry using a JavaScript keyboard, so a user can't just put a nasty keylogger. And lastly, if the network information is being replayed, we mitigate that by validating that only one transaction, one authentication transaction, will be allowed, and thus we drop any follow-on attacks. Let's talk about how you implement it. As I discussed 2 slides ago and throughout this presentation, it's all about having the OWA redirect the authentication to our SecureAuth module. And that is done right here in the OWA configuration. Basically, do a redirect to our product. And then our product does our black box. The way to think about it is we take the user through the process, and then what we do is redirect back to the OWA. The method we use is documented. We use Microsoft's .NET Authentication ID 891748 for the redirect and for having the Outlook Web Access respect and validate our authentication. If it seems like what you're saying, Garrett, is that you're taking a target, redirecting it to a black box, doing magic, and then redirecting back, yes, that's the answer. And therefore, the resellers and other on this call can understand that not only is this doable for Outlook Web Access, but for other applications, which we have over 150 financial institutions using this. For AD, what we do is you give SecureAuth a service account with a user ID password. Now, what's relevant to this is we have an onboarding method that we can load up the email, the correct phone number, the LAN, and other information for the end user. If you do your own onboarding, the SecureAuth account does not need to have write access to the AD. And all we do is, of course, tell SecureAuth how to talk to your directory via a standard AD LDAP connection string. For the OWA should be installed on a with a valid SSL side certificate, which I'm sure if you're doing username password authentication, you already are. Also, turn on the native forms authentication. That's where you get the redirect abilities. So what we're saying is this product is not only world unique in its abilities to authenticate and validate a user, but it's also unique in its fact that we actually took the time to understand how to integrate it into your target, and your target being Office, Outlook, Web Access. Let's have some fun. Let's see the product live. Okay. Now, the thing is, you don't see this because it redirects immediately. Literally what it is, I just hit the OWA server. We have 2007 set up here, and it redirects to our module. But I'll show you this. And then the user just enters his ID. And let me make sure that. Let me just remove my credentials so we can have a valid authentication. So here's the user. User comes on. And what is occurring here is, like I said, is the browser is being inspected right now and saying, dear user, do you have a valid credential? And since the user does not have a valid credential, the user is asked to register. Now, this is configurable by the enterprise. Remember, the security guy's job at IT department is to go to every application and say, okay, this is your resource, these are your risk vectors, and these are your users. I will choose the appropriate authentication method. And that's why we designed this product this way. For this, we allowed we showed that the user entitled to 4 different registration methods. You can register by phone, SMS text, email, or a static PIN. So for this scenario, what we'll do is have the user will attempt to do a phone authentication. And we're using the telephony part of our product. And as you can hear, that's literally my cell phone ringing. User hits answer.
Hello, Garrett Grajek. Your one-time password is 9448. Hello, Garrett Grajek. Your one-time password is 9448.
Oh, yeah, and I'm just being silly. Let's clear it out. 9448. There we go. Right, now what we're checking is, as we said, make sure the user is still valid, and that is the standard Active Directory password. So literally what we have now is the browser side is doing a PKCS 10 request, and that's being relayed via the SecureAuth module to our web services. That happens, the authentication is valid, and all the user cares is that he gets to see his wonderful email. Okay? Now you're saying, okay, great, Garrett, that's great. Are you saying he has to go through that telephony and call every time? The answer is absolutely not. Let's see. The user tries to get in, and I bookmarked OWA. User tries to get back into his application. This time, because we have a certificate placed down on the end user's browser, what we're going to see is that the certificate is then validated by the system, and the user is only asked to put in his Active Directory password. And voila, the user is get into the application.